Hello, and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today, we're doing another ScrawlrBox. Yes, once again, I'm holding up an empty box. What can I say? As I'm filming this intro, the latest box isn't actually here yet. This is probably last month's box. But anyway, ScrawlrBox time, let's get into it.
The featured artist this month is Katie Jobling, and she's a YouTube artist, so be sure to go check her out. You can pause and read the back of the print if you like. It does have some painting tips for working with oils, since that's what we've been given in the box. Here are her tips. With oils, always start with darker colors first. It's harder to go over white with a darker color, unlike acrylics. Don't use too much water, just enough to loosen the paint. Remember, drying times are much longer than other paint types, 3 to 5 days. This print is really beautiful. It looks like she used just the 3 paint tubes we've been given, which is really nice. Sometimes the prints we get clearly have colors we weren't given. Also interesting is, this time the print is square. That's the first time I've seen a print from ScrawlrBox that isn't the same old A5 paper sheet size. Moving on, let's go ahead and just completely read off the card. I didn't do a whole lot of swatching this around, and I don't have any specific comments, so we'll jump right into the supplies information. The top of the card says, sometimes trying new art supplies is daunting, and mediums like oil paints are meant to be used with solvents and thinners to achieve a certain effect. We wanted to give you the chance to easily try this medium and experience with all the benefits of painting with oil paint without any of the hassle. I definitely do appreciate that. I own a set of Daler Rowney oils and I never use them because I don't know what to do with all those thinners and solvents. The only thing I own that I could use with them right now is my Gamsol, and I don't think you're supposed to use that for the top layers, so... But on that note, first up we have Cobra Artist Water Mixable Oil Paint. An artist quality water mixable oil paint with an exceptionally high degree of pigmentation. Painting with these is the same as painting with traditional oil paint and provides a perfect oil paint results with a uniform drying time and degree of gloss. The color and brush stroke, or applied texture, retains its full expression and remains the same as when applied even after the paint has dried. The only difference is you don't need all the scary and harmful solvents to use it. Use straight from the tube or dilute it to your desired consistency with a little water. Plus, the cleaning process is also much simpler, as you only need soapy water to clean your hands and brushes. The suggested retail price for these is £3.49 per tube, which works out to £10.47 altogether. In terms of cleanup, I used my usual Jack Studio soap, which is made with linseed oil, and plain old tap water for most of the cleanup, and it worked well. While I was cleaning my hands, initially I looked in the mirror and noticed I had a little bit of the blue paint on my face somehow, and that came off easily with a baby wipe. I also used a baby wipe on my cutting mat that was under all of this during painting. The scrap paper didn't do its job. The red did stain the brush. After I cleaned the brush thoroughly with the linseed soap, I thought it might still have a bit of paint in it because of the color, so I broke out my Gamsol and swished it around in a little bit of that, but even after washing it with linseed soap again after that, it still stained. The oil paint tubes do have 3 little plus symbols on them. I went over to the Royal Talens website to see what that means in terms of light fastness. There are a couple different light fastness scales companies use, and Royal Talens uses 3 to represent the highest degree of light fastness. So for all 3 of these colors, under museum conditions, they shouldn't fade for 100 plus years. The brush we've been given is Zahn Custom Flat Synthetic Universal Brush. This short handle, size 10 brush has a hair mixture of different fiber thickness for optimized elasticity and paint holding capacity, perfect for defined brush strokes. The flat brush head has excellent shape retention and is suitable for all paint types, including oil and watercolor. The suggested retail price is £2.50. So this is indeed a very nice flat brush, and it has the ScrawlrBox logo on the handle, which is really cool. I was hesitant to even use this brush with the oils because I didn't want to possibly ruin it for future use with watercolors, but thankfully I'm pretty confident I got it as clean as possible, and it shouldn't be a problem. For our surface, we've been given a primed stretched canvas panel. Good quality canvas that is mounted on a heavy card panel, which is glued on the reverse and primed ready for use. Simply add paint and let your creativity flow. Suggested retail price is £1.99. So this is a typical cheap canvas board like what you would find in the craft department at Walmart. The card doesn't say what the dimensions are, but I tried measuring it myself and I think it's meant to be 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 inches. It's a little over, but that's probably just the canvas itself adding width where it wraps around the board. We were also given a Derwent sketching pencil. Sketch is all about being loose and free to create. These pencils have a wide strip of graphite, making it easy to rough out a loose sketch or quickly capture a passing cloud before it disappears, while being able to add those all-important details to your drawing by sharpening it to a fine point, making these a highly versatile addition to your artist arsenal. Suggested retail price is £1.69. Wow, guys, grammar is not their strong suit. That sounds like one long run-on sentence, but they've got it punctuated in there that breaks it up into 4 sentences. Turn on captions if you want to see for yourself. I transcribed it faithfully. The pencil they gave us is a 2B lead, which is still pretty firm as B leads go. I honestly don't know why they've given us a pencil at all, because you're certainly not going to see your sketch through the first layer of paint, and a little further down the card they encourage us to do something abstract, so I don't know why you'd be sketching anyway. I'll take it though, always nice to have another good Derwent pencil. We were also given a mixing card and a sheet of palette paper, both which don't have suggested prices, so we don't know their value. The information on the mixing card says, palette knife card. Brushes are not the only paint applicator you can use, and we wanted to give you another option to help mix and apply your paint. Use this card to mix colors and experiment with the different ways it can put paint on the canvas. Cut it into various shapes and use it to scrape, scratch, and add texture to your work. This card is about the size and thickness of a debit card, and it's only slightly more flexible. It's definitely plastic. I didn't like it for mixing on the palette at all, but I did end up using it directly on the canvas after, and that was a lot of fun. This is clearly meant to be used in place of a proper palette knife. Like I said, though, I wasn't fond of using the pieces of card to mix paint on the palette, so for that I did break out one of my own actual palette knives. The palette paper we were given is 45 GSM, and the card says, "This special paper sheet is a vegetable parchment impervious to oil and acrylic, making it perfect for a temporary art palette. Use it to mix and save your colors, safe in the knowledge that it will not bleed or leak through onto the surface below." I only ended up using this for my swatching. When it came time to actually paint on the canvas, I used one of my own metal mixing palettes. I didn't like how flimsy the paper palette was. And of course we have the challenge for this month, which is Abstract Floral. Overall, I did have a lot of fun trying this out. At first I was going to make some flowers that resembled succulents, but I quickly discovered I wasn't going to achieve anything close to what I pictured with this brush size and not waiting for layers to dry. So I dove headlong into the abstract side of things and made a truly abstract piece. That isn't something I normally do, so it was a nice change. This piece is now sitting on a fresh scrap paper up high on my bookshelf, and I'm going to leave it there for a week before I decide what to do about displaying or storing it. Has this convinced me to use oils more? No. I'm not patient enough to wait a couple days between layers, and with a toddler and 2 cats around, I don't want to always have oil paint drying somewhere in the house. If you like oils though, and you're interested in water mixable oils, I definitely do recommend checking out the Cobra line. These seem like really good paints, they're very highly lightfast, and I like the fact that water is all I needed to change the consistency of the paint. As per usual, I'll have the retail prices from the card converted to USD and Canadian dollars down below, and all tallied up and compared to the subscription and shipping costs for UK, American, and Canadian subscribers, so you can get an idea of whether or not ScrawlrBox is financially worth it. I will say this one is harder to judge because we don't know what the palette knife card cost, but it is definitely not the most valuable in terms of bundle savings. That's not typical for ScrawlrBox. I do usually find they've spent our money well. And of course, UK subscribers will have the best savings value because they don't pay shipping. Not sponsored. I buy this myself. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again on Thursday. Bye.